Hey, what's up? Chris here. Hopefully you're having a great day. And today I'm talking about the mindset necessary going into a program or a lifestyle change so that it becomes a lifestyle change, not a temporary thing. So I thought of this the other day because we are blessed to have somebody come to our house and hang out with our children so we don't have to put them in daycare. My wife runs a salon, I do this business. Our time is split between those two things, our kids and stuff. So we luckily have somebody comes to our house. It's a nanny. Now, nothing wrong with nannies. She's great, right? But the main job of a nanny is what? Is to play with the kids, feed them, make sure they stay alive. If you do those things, and you're not beating my child, hey, we are in a freaking good thing. You are a good nanny, right? And it's fun and things, those are important too, but bare minimum, you do that. And then guess what happens after you're done? After you clock out, you go on with your merry way, right? Now, as parents, do we have that option? No. There is no clocking out. There is no, I'm just going to stop. I'm just like, okay, cool. It's past 10 o'clock, parenting off. Doesn't work that way. And so oftentimes we treat our fat loss like it is a nannying thing. And so just to give you an idea of how important this is, we're going to talk a little bit about your boy here. Now, I may be like you, if you're watching this, have never been around kids before having kids. Okay, I'm in the older bracket of my family, everybody, and the ones we hung out with most are around my age or slightly younger. And so when I was growing up, 5, 6, 7, where kind of like memory started becoming a real thing, they were mostly out of wearing diapers, or I wouldn't be around babies often, okay? And there's people that are way younger than me, 10, 15 years younger than me, but I wasn't around them often enough to like hold babies. Okay, that was just not something I ever did. And so I'd go to the store and I'd hear babies crying or in a movie theater or a place. I'm like, man, just shut that thing up, right? I'm like, man, this is so annoying. It's so frustrating. It's so obnoxious. Why can't you just make the baby stop? Like, just make the baby stop. I was under that impression. Now, hindsight, if you're a parent listening to this, you're like, of course that's not how it works. But I didn't know any better. Okay, I was just like, man, this is annoying. Why are you taking your screaming, crying baby here? Get that kid. I would even say stuff, I'm sure like you did, my kid will never act that way. And then here we are today, kids acting that way. And so, this is your boy holding his first baby. I looked up the date. That was in 2014 in August. So it's been 9 years to make this video for me from holding my first baby to today. Not even 9 years. And so, I was not around kids often. And so when I would hold this baby, I could go, okay, I'm going to hold the baby for a couple seconds. And I called it fresh out because literally the baby was born that day. I was like, all right, here's your baby back. I'm like, I'm good. I could act a certain way for a minute because I'm around this baby, right? I could like be all cautious and careful. And then as soon as the baby's out, I'm reckless and being a freaking whatever 24-year-old, right? 22-year-old, whatever it is. Right? I could do that because in the moment right now I have this child. Very similar to in the moment right now I'm trying to lose weight. And then afterwards, I just go back to my old ways. It doesn't work like that. It does not work like that. Because in the beginning, here's the problem that you're facing is that it's a change. We like the nannying stage where we can just go, cool. It's like, and you can see this in some parents too, unfortunately, is I have kids now. When kids are gone, I'm going to be my free-spirited self again. I'm going to go do all sorts of partying. I'm going to go back to doing my crazy stuff like I did in my 20s, even though I'll be in my 40s and 50s, but whatever, because it's my life now, and I'm no longer held down by my children. And that's where people have all sorts of problems. But anyway, I'm not here to talk about that. So when it comes to this, if we treat our nutrition like this, inevitably you go back. But it's hard. It's hard in the beginning to change. But it was kind of like hard when you had your first baby too, because after holding this baby, not just afterwards, but just over a year later, I had my first baby. That's Holly. And this is the first day, I remember this day because it's like, oh gosh. First day alone with the baby. Okay, my wife was really, really protective, really wanted to be around the kid. Every waking moment, she wasn't around the kid, she was really like, oh my gosh, I gotta be around this baby. I love this baby so much. And she was really mama bearish. And so this day I said, hey hon, you said you want to get your hair done. Go get your hair done. Okay, I'll stay with the baby. And she texted me, how are things going? And that moment, that happened. And so I text her a picture of it, blowout diaper. You know how it is if you've been around it. But it got better. In the beginning, yes, it was really hard. It was hard to handle a baby when I've never been around children. The crying, the sleeping, the bottles, the diaper changes, all that. I've never changed a diaper until I had a baby, right? So it was really, really hard. But it became normal because I had to adapt because I could not just leave the kid, right? I know in this day and age that seems crazy town for people, but the reality is I just couldn't do it, right? I love my wife too much. I love the baby too much to do that. But it got better, and then we're good. And then look at me holding the baby, having fun. This is Holly 4 years ago, and everything was fine. Everything was good. And then we had this crazy idea. Let's have another one. So we had another one. That's Evelyn. Evelyn's so awesome, okay? And in the beginning, it was really hard to have two babies because Emily and I could attack the one, could be good. We could just handle the one. But now our attention's divided. So instead of us being like, all right, we can handle this one, now one of us has got to play man-to-man, you know? We got to play man-to-man defense with these kids. And in the beginning, was it hard? Yes, very hard. In fact, extremely hard for me with the second child, if I had to be honest. I was like, man, I love the baby so much, but it's taken away from me and my wife's time, and we don't get to hang out as much. It was really rough on me mentally to get through that. It really was, and it's not as fun as I would like to admit it, but that's the reality, right? It was really, really hard for me having these two kids because I also wanted some time and attention for me. But as things got better, we communicated better, we were able to handle things magically, all was good. We had two kids, and then we were fine. We go on vacations, we have a great old time, we were fit, healthy, all these sorts of things. Just like most people want to be. Treating our family like a family. This is how things are. Not what we wish they would be, but how they are. We have two kids, we've got jobs we do full time, we've got things to do, and we got to make sure we raise these kids right. But then we had this crazy idea. What if we had a third? So we then had a third baby, and this is McKenna. McKenna's great. McKenna's going to be 2 in August. And in the beginning, it was really hard. It was really hard because now instead of playing man-to-man, now we're playing zone. We're like, all right, I see these two hellions here, and we got to make sure they don't jump off anything, they don't hurt themselves, and we treat them right, and we don't favor one or the other one. One of them's not getting in trouble all the time. One of them's not getting all the cookies and candies while the other one's not. We got to do all the things, right? Just as any parent does. And in the beginning, it was really, really hard. But eventually, it gets easier, right? All is good. Eventually, it gets easier. So then it gets to a point where, you know what? Your boy can hang out with all the kids by himself. 7 years ago, never being around a baby. Now, man, I handle babies like a boss. Whenever I hear kids crying now, I go, oh man, I miss those cries. The real cries, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, kids, the real cries of, I'm actually having problems. Can you help me? Versus, I'm crying because I don't get a show, or you didn't give me an ice cream, or I'm in trouble for doing something. I'm sad for the trouble I got myself in. You know what I'm saying? The nonsensical stuff that kids do to get in trouble, that they're in trouble for, but it's their fault. It's just crazy town, right? But in the beginning, when I first got 3 kids, it was really tough. Now, it's just the normal. Now when I hear a baby crying, again, I don't go, oh, so annoying. I go, oh man, that stinks. And if mom's frustrated, I go, man, hey, it's all good. Let me carry your groceries for you. I'm not saying this to say how cool I am. I'm like, hey, I know how tough it is, dude. It's really tough. It's hard. And sometimes the helping hand is really nice. And then I see people with 4 or 5 kids and how do you do it? Oh my gosh. But you know what they say? It's just the normal. This is what we do. Same exact thing happens with your fitness and nutrition team. Is that when you treat fitness and nutrition like you treat raising a family, it becomes the normal. When you treat it like it's just a temporary thing for a temporary problem, then you're going to get the problem happen over and over and over and over and over again. It'll instead, your pictures will go from something like this, a before and after, where you go, oh cool, I'm sweet. It'll go from that to a before and after, where you gain it back again. Because you're doing it for a temporary time. You can drop the kid back off and go back to your old ways. You can't do that. You can't do it. And so what are the main things I want to take away from this? One is, if you have kids, you've already done the harder part in life, okay? If you've got more than a kid, like where you and your spouse or just you, man to man's easy. But now when you're playing zone, you got like multiples, you're like, shit, this is really freaking hard. But if you're doing that, I promise you, it's way harder than the food and nutrition stuff. It's just that we have this preconceived notion that you do things for a temporary amount of time. And if instead you go, this is what I do now, embody this new thing. Like, I plan my food ahead of time. I prepare my meals for the week. I exercise. I drink my water. I track all my food. Not because it's so tedious and hard, it's just what I do now. Instead of spending time not doing that and filling the time with other things, I do this now so that I can have a before and after. Not a before, after, and back to before again. You see what I'm saying? With that being said, if you're struggling with the steps on how to do those things, I just finished a 30-pound fat loss blueprint called my Body Breakthrough Blueprint. If you want to copy that, the link will be down below. You can watch it. It's literal, not like kind of, it's the steps that I take in order to get my clients, like all these people, to lose 30 pounds relatively fast. Not the speediest, not the fastest. Because again, if we do it the fastest, it's going to be before, after, and after. But the most consistent, so that not only when the weight comes off, it stays off. And at the end of the training, I literally give you everything that you need to look up and learn in order to do it on your own. Or what you can do to circumnavigate that whole thing. You can watch a training. I genuinely think the training is great. It is the same stuff that I do, promise. But if you're somebody who wants to take the next step and would rather, instead of trialing and erroring your way through it, if you lack time over money, you need to be smart and invest in yourself. Okay? Invest the finances to take all 14 years and 500,000 I've spent in this industry, and let me just teach you the stuff instead of you trying to figure it out on your own. Makes sense? To do that, all you gotta do is go down below, bodyfathacks.com/breakthrough, fill out that form. You and I will have a conversation to go over what steps you are missing, specifically what blind spots you don't even realize you have, for us to get you to where you want to go. That's it for me. Have a great freaking day. Kick some butt, take some names, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.